Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're essentially going to treat the observable universe like a giant detective story. We're investigating what is, without a doubt, the greatest missing persons case in cosmological history. Our whole focus today boils down to one remarkably straightforward but entirely baffling question. If intelligent life is common, why haven't we found clear evidence of it? It's a mystery that has literally stumped our brightest minds for decades. Consider this your official docket for our cosmic investigation. We'll start with the great cosmic silence, ask, but where is everybody? And look at the math of life. Then we'll ask, are we truly alone, dig into the zoo and the quarantine, and finally see where the search continues today. Section 1, the great cosmic silence, establishing the mystery. Let's dive right in and look at the fundamental problem that makes this silence so absolutely baffling. But where is everybody? This one simple rhetorical question is really the anchor for our entire investigation. It highlights that agonizing void we all kind of feel when we look up at the night sky. With so much space, so much time, and so much potential out there, the silence is actually deafening. It frames our whole focus. If life is supposed to be out there, why are the skies so incredibly empty? And this contrast brilliantly illustrates the core of our paradox. On one side, we have the massive, nearly infinite scale of the universe. We're talking about an estimated 70 sextillion stars in the observable universe. But on the other side, absolute zero evidence for extraterrestrial civilizations, artifacts, or signals. Zero. The paradox is that direct conflict between the sheer mathematical probability that intelligent life should be everywhere and the total lack of empirical evidence that it actually exists. Section 2. But where is everybody? Tracing the origins. Let's see how a casual observation turned into a formalized scientific roadblock. The whole thing actually traces its roots back to a 1950 lunch conversation at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. Physicist Enrico Fermi was just chatting with his colleagues, and he suddenly blurted out that famous question. From there, it kind of simmered until Carl Sagan first mentioned it in print in a 1963 footnote. But it wasn't until 1975 that astrophysicist Michael Hart published a really detailed, formal examination of the paradox. That's what gave it the structure that scientists are still debating today. Section 3, the math of life, the chain of reasoning. Let's look at the staggering math that dictates aliens really should be everywhere. Look at the sheer scale of this number, up to 400 billion. And we aren't even talking about the whole universe anymore. There are between 200 billion and 400 billion stars just in our own Milky Way galaxy. Even if you assume the mediocrity principle, the idea that Earth is just your typical run-of-the-mill planet, if intelligent life happens on even a microscopic percentage of planets around these stars, there should be a huge number of civilizations right in our cosmic backyard. So let's just walk through this logical chain of reasoning together. Step 1, we know stars have planets, right? Step 2, many of these stars and their planets are billions of years older than our sun. Step 3, if Earth-like planets are typical, older life should have developed interstellar travel a very long time ago. Step 4, even moving at a pretty slow pace, a civilization could completely cross the entire Milky Way in a few million years. Which brings us to the inescapable conclusion, they absolutely should have visited Earth already, or at least sent some probes. And yet, nothing. Section 4. Are we truly alone? The suspects. Since we haven't found any alien probes, astrobiologists have had to draw up a list of theoretical suspects. When Michael Hart formally structured this problem back in 1975, he neatly categorized the proposed solutions into 4 broad buckets. First, you've got physical solutions. Maybe space travel is literally just too difficult or resource-intensive. Second, sociological solutions. Aliens do exist, but they actively choose not to visit us. Third, temporal solutions. They just haven't had enough time to get here yet. And fourth, the already here category. They visited Earth way back in the unrecorded past, long before human history even began. But wait, some scientists push back on the very premise of this whole paradox. They argue that our calculations, like the famous Drake equation used to guess the number of alien civilizations, might suffer from the overconfidence effect. Basically, this is a statistical error where we confidently plug in specific numbers for events we don't fully understand yet. A perfect example is abiogenesis, the original spark of life coming from non-living matter. Estimates for how likely that is to happen vary wildly, meaning the math could be astronomically off. we might just be way too confident about how easy it is for life to begin in the first place. Section 5. The Zoo and the Quarantine. Sociological Solutions. What if they are out there, but they're ignoring us on purpose? Well, that brings us to the zoo hypothesis. This proposes a fascinating, if maybe a little humbling, scenario. It suggests that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists, but they are deliberately avoiding contact with Earth. Essentially, they're treating our planet like a cosmic closed nature reserve, allowing us to just evolve naturally without any outside interference. In some variations of this theory, Earth might even be an active laboratory, and we are totally unaware that we're the subjects of a giant interstellar experiment. However, scientists are really quick to point out a massive flaw with this idea: the uniformity of motive. Think about it. For the zoo hypothesis to work, every single alien civilization across the entire galaxy would have to agree to and strictly enforce a non-interference policy. It literally only takes one rogue alien actor, one dissenting faction, or one rebellious culture to break the quarantine. As the number of civilizations increases, the statistical chance of flawless, unanimous silence across billions of years drops to practically zero. Now, to be thorough in our investigation, we impartially have to acknowledge the fringe theories too. The idea is that alien life is already here, unacknowledged, in secret contact with governments, or being deliberately concealed. Obviously, these are super popular in movies and sci-fi, but scientists urge intense caution here. As astrophysicist David Brin points out, linking this profound scientific paradox with crackpot theories gives those theories too much credibility, and that ultimately damages legitimate, serious scientific inquiry into astrobiology. Section 6. The search continues. Where do we stand? After looking at the math and the theories, where does this leave us today? It's really vital to realize that this paradox isn't just some fun late-night thought experiment. It has had real-world impacts on science. The popularization of the Fermi Paradox actually damaged the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. Back in 1981, politicians cited the Great Silence and the lack of detected spacecraft as concrete proof that aliens simply don't exist. This directly led to the termination of federally funded NASA SETI programs, and it created a de facto ban on government support for this entire branch of science for years. Today, modern statistical analyses are really trying to factor in those vast uncertainties about life's origins that we talked about earlier. In a 2018 paper, researchers analyzed the overconfidence effect and came to a pretty sobering conclusion. They stated that when you account for the true uncertainty of the math, there is a substantial ex-ante probability, which basically just means a statistical likelihood based on prior conditions, that there is no other intelligent life in our observable universe. We might simply be completely alone. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought regarding our place in the cosmos. As we keep staring into this vast, silent universe, searching for just one signal in the dark, we really have to ask ourselves, are we the very first civilization to rise? Are we the last ones left alive after some great cosmic filter? Or are we just looking in completely the wrong way? Because if we truly are the only ones looking back at the stars, then the preservation of our little blue planet isn't just human history, it's the most important task in the entire universe. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking up and keep asking questions.